being adopted was something we always knew. Having each other was sort of like, well, she's my twin sister, we know each other. It's like we have each other, we have our family. We don't really need to know, you know?
Right.
But there was always in the back of our mind, who's our mother, and, you know.
A curiosity.
Curiosity. I think it was 18 years old when I tried to find them in Florida. Went through the court system several times and just was not able to get any information. And I actually spoke to my half-sister just the other day, and she's pretty sure that our biological mother made it very difficult for us to ever find them.
We tried to find them. The Catholic Church where we were adopted, we just gave up.
We had thought about finding our birth parents, and her genetic doctor said that it was probably pretty important that we do. Our birth mother had the same cancer as we did.
We both had what they call a triple negative. So we were HER2 negative, estrogen and progesterone negative. And that usually tends to be the more aggressive kind. It's usually genetic, especially if you get it young, you know, if you're getting it diagnosed before 40. I had her social security number and I ordered her death certificate on the internet. And within 2 days it came to me in the mail at work, and I opened it up and I saw, you know, died on this date, metastatic breast cancer, 3 years after initial diagnosis. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't believe it.
That's how I felt.
Oh my God, she has what I have, and she died from it. BRCA1, it's a genetic test. It's a mutation they discovered 10 years ago. It basically tells a woman that she has like 65 to 80% chance of getting breast cancer.
By the time she's in her like 60s.
Or, yeah, something like that. And then about the same for ovarian cancer.
Ovarian's more like 40%.
My doctor said she'd call me Friday. So I pick up the phone and she goes, "Are you sitting down?" And I thought I was gonna die. And she said, "Well, it looks like it's cancer." And I didn't know anything about, you know, being young and being diagnosed in genetic or anything. I just thought, how can I have cancer? I'm only 36. They saw that it hadn't spread anywhere. They saw it was just a lump, kind of isolated. So they were going to remove a lump. And that's what they did. And then it wasn't until I saw my radiation oncologist, who was female and knew that I was young and didn't have any family history, and suggested that I take this BRCA1/2 genetic test, which I had never heard of. If I had taken the genetic test and knew I had the gene, I wouldn't have done my lumpectomy in the first place. I would have just done the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I had a tram flap, which is they take fat from your stomach and they put it here. I have a little sensation. They feel normal and real. They look like they used to. They're about the same size because it kind of fills in the skin that was there.
Her genetic doctor told her, "You need to get your sister in here. She needs to get tested. We need to discuss. This needs to be..." I mean, when Steph first called me and said she was diagnosed with cancer, we always have the same things. She gets this, I get this. She gets a cold, 2 weeks later, I get a cold. Before I got the results, I just knew. I was just, you know, going through all those fears and emotions and things like that. But when she told me, "I'm sorry to tell you, but you have the genetic mutation for breast cancer and ovarian cancer, the BRCA1," I was like, So I had a mammogram, didn't show anything. Had another MRI, it showed a small little tumor. Went in to get a biopsy, cancer. Well, I got diagnosed pretty much a year after Steph. After my genetic testing, this is the interesting thing that I think people should be aware of. I never had, nor did Steph, have any of our cancers diagnosed in a mammogram. No mammogram showed a darn thing. And in my situation, if I counted on a mammogram, who knows how bad I could have been one of those women with stage 4. I was extremely lucky that I got it this early, and I still thank my lucky stars on that one.
Especially if you're at the age past 40 and you don't have family history, but you have dense breasts, small, ask for an ultrasound or an MRI.
People that are adopted should somehow have access to their medical history. so they can make decisions for themselves in a timely manner.
We would have probably gotten screened. You know, usually if you have family history and or you have the gene in your family or you have the gene, they usually say you start screening at 20.
They wouldn't release the medical files without a medical emergency.
You don't really know your genetics if you don't know your birth history. I mean, we didn't know anything.
If I had read other or gotten to know other people, I mean, we could not even meet anyone. We had trouble even finding someone that had this gene. I mean, it was really hard. We spent a lot of time looking on the internet.
I know that I would have loved to hear other people's stories. If a young woman gets diagnosed with breast cancer and has a lump and possibly could have the gene, she needs to know that. And she needs to know that it's going to be okay and that, you know, you can get through it and you can do preventative surgery and have reconstruction and never have the fears and never have to worry about breast cancer again.
I believe, honestly, that there's women out there in the same situation who don't know what to do. I believe there's women out there that have family history of breast cancer and they're at that age and they don't know what to do. I believe there's women out there that are been diagnosed with cancer. I believe there's women that have the BRCA1 gene who know nothing and who are scared. And I believe that this story could not just help guide them, but it could help save their lives. I think talking to someone who's gone through it, like completely gone through it, and hearing their story is much more helpful than talking to a doctor or even a best friend.